The movie starts with a guy named Quan. Some time ago, he was national taekwondo champion, but nowadays he resorts to playing games in an internet cafe, wasting his time. He didn't have a job, but he has exceptional gaming skills. In one of the online games, his character name was Captain, which he played with a group of friends who happened to be his team in the game. The group was called Resurrection, and the captain would help his team without caring about his own life. One day, after finishing a game at the cafe, Quan spots a smartphone abandoned nearby. Someone was calling it, which had caught his attention, so he picks up the phone and a girl's voice is heard at the other end. She tells Quan that it is her phone and she had forgotten it at the cafe and asks him to bring it back to her place. Quan shows apprehension about leaving his game, but the girl offers him $300 for the favor. Quan agrees immediately and heads over to the girl's house. When Quan reaches the place, he notices that the door is already unlocked and the girl is taking a shower. Quan informs her from the outside about the phone, to which the girl replies that he can leave the phone at the table and collect the money from her bed. Quan does so and prepares to leave, but advises the girl to never keep her front door unlocked, which can compromise her safety, and leaves. The next day, Quan is sleeping in his bed, and just then, police officers bust inside his home and arrest him. It turns out that Quan has been accused of murdering the same girl he visited last night to return the phone. However, Quan has no idea about what has gone down. Plenty of evidence, such as blood on his hands, murder weapon at his place, his DNA at the crime scene, and CCTV footage of him entering the girl's room exist. He is also accused of sexually assaulting the girl twice and stabbing her ruthlessly in the neck and stomach. Within a few hours, the news spreads across the news channels, and Quan goes viral, with the public hating him instantly for committing such a heinous crime. Quan's mother gets the news and immediately rushes to the police station, but isn't allowed to see her son. Later, we see her handing out flyers to locals, telling them that her son is innocent and being framed for a crime he can never commit. But the general public is already convinced that Quan is a cold-blooded murderer. Finally, Quan's mother reaches out to a lawyer called Mr. Min for help. Min initially believes Quan to be the killer because of the evidence pointing it out. Some days later, court proceedings begin and all the evidence is presented against Quan, and the court quickly delivers its verdict. Quan is sentenced to life imprisonment and is sent to a high-security prison without any possibility for parole in the future. The court states that Quan's mental health took a toll due to spending all day playing games and having no job, which resulted in killing a girl. Inside the prison, Quan is trapped with dangerous criminals who are fit for the high-security prison. However, Quan is innocent and doesn't deserve to be with them. One day, a vicious prison mate, Paul, who is a gang leader, grabs Quan, while prison guards stand there watching. Paul starts beating Quan, but Quan fights back, which enrages Paul, and all his men beat Quan to a pulp. Officers try to break up the fight, and Paul claims that Quan attacked him first. Later, officers throw Quan into solitary confinement for 30 days as a punishment. Sometime later, Paul and his thugs corner Quan again and beat him mercilessly. They also give him an unfamiliar injection, which temporarily drives him crazy, and he tries to eat himself. This becomes a daily routine, and Quan gets beaten almost every day. One day, his mother visits him in the prison with the lawyer, Mr. Minister. She notices the beaten-up condition of Quan and understands what has been happening with him in the prison. She then promises Quan that she will get him out and asks him to hang in there with hope. She emphasized that she would not want him to live a life labeled as a sexual predator and a murderer. Nor does she want to live as a mother of a vicious criminal. These words give hope and courage to Quan. He goes back in the prison with a rekindled spirit. However, the physica, torture of Paul's gang, continues. Another inmate gives Quan some ointment to put on his wounds and believes that he can't be a killer. He explains to Quan that Paul is aware of his innocence and thinks of him as an easy target to beat up. This gives Quan a reason to fight back, as he doesn't want to be controlled or cornered by anyone. One day, Paul's thugs come to beat Quan, but he hides himself and attacks his gang with makeshift and small weapons, which helps him take down the thugs and Paul one by one and protect himself. However, next day, Min arrives to deliver heart-wrenching news of Quan's mother's death by suicide. He hands over the death certificate to Quan for his signature so that the government could handle the funeral. This breaks Quan's heart, as he's not even allowed to attend his mother's funeral. Min explains that people had been harassing Quan's mother repeatedly, and it had become unbearable for her to live down the shame and end her own life. This completely breaks Quan and leaves him hopeless. But Quan remembers his mother's words of not living a life labeled as a murderer and a sexual predator. He also remembers his promise to his mother of not losing hope and fighting back. Quan decides to escape from prison and attacks Paul. In the chaos, he stabs himself with a knife and is taken to a hospital for help. However, during the trip, he regains consciousness and attacks the guards with his makeshift weapons. He then asks for the keys to his handcuffs, but the vehicle is met with an accident, injuring everyone. But Quan makes it out alive and breaks free from his handcuffs. The chief guard draws a gun on him but lets him escape, as he also believes in his innocence. Quan escapes into the forest, while a nationwide manhunt ensued by 7 countries for capturing him. Quan notices a couple on the highway with a broken-down car and helps them in return for a lift to the airport. The couple is in a hurry to leave the country and decide to give their car to Quan, asking him to sell it and make some profit. Quan feels relieved as he has a car now and visits Min, in the hopes of getting some help. Min comforts Quan and presents him with the necklace that Quan's mother left for him. He then tells Quan that he will examine his case. However, he calls police instead and asks Quan to turn himself in. This enrages Quan, and he quickly flees from the spot to escape the police. Quan reaches the cafe where he used to play games. He sees all the negative articles written about him, which depresses him. But then he comes across one article which talks about the wrong conviction of Quan and explains that it is impossible to sexually harass a girl twice and then murder her in just 3 minutes. The article also points out several inconsistencies with the evidence and possible tempering. This ignites some hope in Quan, and he tries to locate the writer of the article. The name of the writer is Mr. Harry, an old teammate who used to play online with Quan. Mr. Harry contacts Quan, and it is revealed that she is a girl named Yeowol. She warns Quan that the cafe manager has alerted the police, and he needs to leave immediately. They meet up at a restaurant, and later she escorts him to a secret hideout outside the city. It turns out that Yeowol lives alone in the hideout and is a master computer analyst with strong skills. She also cooks him delicious food, as he had been fed up with eating stale prison food. Soon after, the rest of the members of Resurrection, the gaming team of Quan, arrive and declare that they want to help Quan just the way he had helped him during their gameplays. Yeowol deciphers the flaws present in the evidence and wishes to prove Quan's innocence. The team investigates all the high-profile crimes which happened in past years and locate a specific truck parked at all the crime scenes visible in the surveillance footage of all crimes. Yeowol locates the registration of the truck to a junkyard and visits the place. They notice 2 men carrying a large box into a vehicle, and Quan follows them to a building, which turns out to be the house of a famous TV actor, No Jun Young. Quan enters the building and sees the dead body of the actor contained in the box that was brought from the junkyard. He hides in the room and observes some people arrive in the room and planting evidence carefully, creating a false crime scene. It is revealed that the real mastermind behind Quan's conviction was Mr. Min, and he is repeating the same process here too. The murder of the actor is actually done by the daughter of a wealthy person named Chu, and to save her from the police, Min is planting evidence to fabricate someone else. It is also revealed that Min has a secret room equipped with a supercomputer with advanced technology, which aids him in locating targets to frame for such high-profile crimes. He locates a girl named So, who can be framed for this murder. Quan also sees the false fingerprints planted beside the body of the actor and collects it. He then asks Yeowol to scam and confirm who might be the next victim of this scheme. They also find out the name of the girl. However, Min's agents reached her first and collected DNA samples. They also call her under the pretense of making her meet the actor. Yo-Wool and Quan intercept So's phone, and Quan immediately recognizes it to be the voice of the same girl who called him the night when he was asked to return the phone. He quickly realized that some rich kid had killed the girl, and the blame was put on Quan in a similar manner. He tries to nab the girl, but she narrowly escapes on a motorcycle. Quan tries to chase her in his car, but the car breaks down in the middle of the road, and out of nowhere, Quan is attacked and kidnapped by none other than Paul, who had gotten out of the prison somehow. Quan is taken to an isolated place and is tortured severely. But Yo-Wool alerts the SWAT team, and they arrive to catch Quan and Paul. As SWAT enters and catches Paul, Quan takes advantage of the chaos and escapes the place. Yo-Wool picks him up from the place, and they both run away. Quan wonders how Paul was able to track him. Yo-Wool then shows that the necklace of Quan's mother has a tracking device attached to it. This clears that Min has been following Quan and keeping an eye on him all along. Quan then throws away the last thing his mother had left him and escapes. Quan's team builds some drones and sends them to survey the building in which Min lives, hoping to locate a supercomputer. Their suspicion proves to be right, and they scan the supercomputer housing data of everyone in the country. Meanwhile, Quan had removed all the evidence from the actor's house which could have implicated the innocent So for the actor's murder. Min finds out and asks his team to set up evidence in a different location. However, Quan bombs the truck, which contained the fake evidence. It is revealed that the actual girl responsible for the actor's murder is posing as a patient in a hospital and wants to get out as soon as possible. However, it can be done only when Min implicates someone else for the murder committed by her. Min is then threatened by the businessman and is forced to create another crime scene at a different location. Quan poses as an agent from Min and leads the daughter of the businessman to the same crime scene fabricated by Min. This implicates the actual murderer for the murder of No Jun Young. This news spreads quickly across the media, and Min's mission fails spectacularly. Quan calls Min and tells him that he will be exposed to the whole world soon. Min displays psychotic behavior and is delighted to find a challenger in Quan. He declares that creating fake crime scenes had become boring, but Quan has the capability to turn this into something exciting. Quan hangs up in the middle of this conversation, which enrages Min. He then notices the glass floor underneath and sees his dead secretary. He deduces that the phone call was a distraction and Quan has entered the building. He runs towards his secret room, but Quan grabs and beats him impulsively. Quan sees the supercomputer and finds videos of himself and how he was framed for the murder, along with the videos of his mother, protesting against his false conviction. Just then, Min confesses that he killed Quan's mother as she had been regularly protesting, which was being noticed by some people. She was getting the support and sympathy which could have been risky for Min, so he killed her. This enrages Quan and beats Min mercilessly. Quan takes out a thumb drive and starts transferring all the data from the supercomputer in order to save himself and expose Min. Just then, Min receives a call from Paul, who confirms that he has abducted Quan's team and they will be killed if Quan did not show up. Min reveals that they had already found the location of Yo-Wool hideout when the necklace was in Quan's possession, and his team's life is at stake now. Quan decides to leave the data transfer and help his team, so he rushes towards the hideout. Meanwhile, Min calls Quan and tells him that Yo-Wool is going to be the next scapegoat for his upcoming mission, and he has already collected enough evidence to frame her. Back at the hideout, Paul shoots one of the teammates but misses, and just then, the power goes out and Quan arrives to rescue the team. Using his taekwondo skills, Quan defeats Paul and his thugs and saves his team members. Quan, along with his team, tries to reach a TV station, but Min's agents and Paul's thug continue to chase them. Quan then notices that Min has broadcast fake news of Quan being a mastermind and the person responsible for all the crimes. As they reach the station, police surround them, and all the team members along with Quan are taken into custody. However, Yo-Wool escapes. All this had been broadcast on the TV with everyone watching, which made Min very happy. But soon, his happiness turned into sorrow when his command center and supercomputer abruptly shut down. He realized that the thumb drive was still attached to his computer, and all the important data had been transferred to Yo Wool. By hacking the TV stations across the country, Yo Wool started the broadcast of the actual footage, where real criminals who were responsible for the crimes got exposed, and the dark truth about Min and his clients. Yo Wool also shows the case of Quan, and it is clear that Quan is also a victim of Min's evil schemes, and people realize that they were wrong about Quan. Min tries to escape in his car after the big exposure, but Quan's team removed his steering wheel, making it impossible for him to run. Police quickly catch Min, but it is evident that all this had some big mastermind behind it, who wasn't revealed to Quan and his team. At last, Quan and his team is honorably acquitted and cleared of all charges. Min meets Paul at the end in the prison, which implies that his time is not going to be smooth in the prison.